Alright, so we're gonna jump right into this, and we're gonna get that bolt that the rain decided to stop us from getting yesterday. As you can see, it's loose still. I'm gonna go up top. He's gonna be down here prying it. I'm gonna hit it with a hammer, and let you guys know how this turns out. You want to tell them the plan?
We're just gonna cut it because it won't stop spinning and it won't be pried off even with 2 crowbars. So at this point I don't know.
You want to tell them how long we sat here?
Honestly, it's probably been about an hour in the 95-degree sun.
Yeah, that bolt, I'm just cutting it now. I'm done. I'm over it. I'll figure out the rest in a second. I just want to get this thing done and over with. It's been fun, but this bolt has beat me, so it's getting cut off. I will win. Alright, I'll let you guys know what happens when it's done. Bye. Alright. So we're back. It's off. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna get that out now. But yeah, we gave up on the idea. We're just gonna replace it with something else for the time being. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna get it the rest of the way out. But since it's out, I think I might wait until the engine and trans is out and then have more room to work inside the engine bay to figure it out. But yeah, now to get the cross member all the way out, I'll let you guys know what's next and how I'm gonna repair that. Alright, so I went and I hooked up the engine hoist so that way I can remove that one bolt. It's a 14 for that motor mount, and then there's 3 right. Let's see, 1, 2, 3 is underneath for this motor mount. There's a whole bunch of stuff in the way, but you guys will get the gist of it, of where to look. After that, we're going to do the power steering pump once it's on the ground, and then move these motor mounts, and then it's time to get out of the engine bay with this motor and trans. Alright, I'll let you guys know when it's on the ground. So, I forgot something. See this wire right here? It goes up and to the alternator and to the AC. Yeah, you gotta disconnect that in order to pull. Forgot about that, so I'm gonna zip that off real quick, pull that harness through, and then I'm gonna slant the engine a little bit. That bottom bolt is stripped for this motor mount, so I undid the 3. They're 14 millimeters. There's 3 of them on this motor mount. I undid those. I loosened those 2, and hopefully the idea is I can get it in the air and I can get a better like way of getting it. So if I can like tilt it, and I can get maybe like a pair of like bias grips or something on that bolt, just so I can loosen it, and then just replace that bolt because it's stripped out. It's that one right there. Just gonna zoom in. Right there. So yeah, hopefully this all pans out. Alright, so we're back. Motor is completely disconnected from all motor mounts. Trans mount is off. It's just floating right now because of the engine hoist. Over here, that bolt, nut is still stripped. You can see it. That holds this mount together. I still have to do that power steering, but I wanted to use this time to say sometimes when you're working on stuff, things just don't go as planned, and one bolt can kind of just ruin everything. For me, it was that cross member bolt. I had to cut it, and that's been the start of the day. Spent 2 hours trying to get it out, and finally just said, you know what, I'll figure out something else and cut it to keep on moving.
This bolt being stripped isn't that bad because there is an alternate way. It just means I gotta remove 4 more bolts to get this mount off, and then once I get it off of this motor, engine's already coming out, so I can put it back together relatively easy. This will just let me work on it outside of the engine bay. It's a little bit more work, but sometimes doing just a little bit more work ends up saving you a lot more time and frustration. And working on cars is one of those things that frustration happens and you just gotta roll with the punches, man. But we get this power steering off, we get these 4 bolts out, remove that whole side with this mount, and then work on it outside of the car, drop the motor lower, and then I might call it a night for the day, to be honest, and resume this tomorrow. Today's been one of those frustrating days where I just kind of want to relax, so might end this one short today. Okay, so remember how I was talking about how things can be frustrating? Sometimes when you get frustrated, you forget to see the simple answers, and I'd like to point out one of my failures right now. In doing so, of thinking about it, I can do something way simpler. I can undo this bolt right there that goes through this motor mount, and because I have solid mounts, by undoing this one bolt, I can just slide this out and it'll create the room that I need, and I don't have to remove those 4 other bolts. So that's going to save me a lot of time. I still got to get that power steering pump, but that'll allow me to drop it on the ground, grab the power steering pump at the ground, and not have to really worry about anything. I got the top bolt, but sitting here thinking about it, I found a better solution that'll save me time, and hopefully you guys can learn from my little mistake here of getting frustrated and overcomplicating things. Sometimes there's simpler solutions. You just gotta look for them. Take a step back and realize, like, hey, I'm frustrated right now. Maybe my thought process isn't the best. And then look at it again. Or maybe even bringing in a second pair of eyes. Those always help. But I'm going to get back to this, and I'm going to take the easy way out and just remove this mount. So I'll let you guys know when that's done. Alright, so yeah, that motor mount's gone. But the way I installed this mount, I wanted to make sure this bolt would never like back out, so that way if I lost this nut somehow, if I would have had it flipped, I would be able to pull the bolt out. But because I have it like this, the block actually blocks it from coming out. And I did that for 2 reasons. One, so if the vibrations, say I didn't like check and I accidentally lost this bolt, like not the bolt but the nut, this bolt wasn't going anywhere and I could easily put a new nut on it and keep going about my day, because I do daily drive this thing. But in doing so right now, my safety precaution kind of messes me up a little bit, but I'll still take that over potentially failing on the drive. Removing it's one thing, driving with it and having it done is another thing. And I'd rather be safe than sorry when driving, so I'm okay with this. Good news is this right here is replaceable, this whole piece. So I'm not out of the water yet, but I don't have to. If I can get this off, cool. If I can't, I have this whole section right here I can replace, or I can find a way to get this off. It's not that big a deal. I still need to try to do it before I pull this motor though, because having this might make things slightly difficult, because I don't think I can drop all the way down to the ground. But I'm gonna get back to this. Alright, so part of today's struggles. So that is a 13mm socket on there. That is a 14mm bolt. A little bit of, persuasion with the hammer, and it's on there, pretty solid. When I put a wrench on it, it feels like I should be able to maybe get a bite on there. I might hammer it a little bit more. This is kind of like a last resort for me, hammering on a socket. I hammer it until, I like to try to hammer it all the way through, so that way I have like the best chance of getting it off. So I'm gonna hammer it some more, and then when I get it off, or yeah, it's gonna be when it's coming off, regardless of how it's coming off. I'll let you guys know. Alright, so I took a trip to the hardware store and I got one of these strip sockets, deep well, because I had the smaller ones, but this worked. I was able to get it loose, and now it's way easier. I need to go put that back on, but you get the point. It's loose now. I should be able to get this thing off now. So if you guys don't have those tools, they're definitely worth the money. I paid 40 bucks for a set, and now I have them in the deep and the small ones. I had the small ones before this, but now I have a deep set, so I don't have to go to parts stores anymore, hopefully. But yeah, I'm gonna get this thing off, drop it to the ground, and I think I'm gonna call it a night after the power steering pump gets off. So I'll let you know when I'm done. Alright, so that bolt's off now. I don't know if the camera does it any justice, but that thing was definitely stripped and on there. But those new sockets that I got definitely helped out a lot. If I didn't have those sockets, I probably would still be fighting with it. I tried hammering on a smaller socket, it wasn't working, and because it was on a stud, I needed the deep sockets, and my extractor ones aren't deep. But now I have a set, so I won't have to worry about that again. Now I'm going to lower the motor all the way to the ground, probably call it a night for the day. Well, I lie. I'm gonna get that power steering pump off, so that way tomorrow all I have to do is pull the motor out and do what I need to do. I'm just gonna leave it like this for the night. Go get some rest. It's been a struggle today, and I'm not trying to figure out what else wants to fight me. Hopefully tomorrow the car will be nicer to me and just let me fix it. Well, after I figure out what I'm doing down here, because I don't know if I showed you that, but see if I can zoom in. Yeah, that's still there. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna get that out and what I'm gonna do to replace it. I have an idea of what I'm gonna do, but I'll be able to do it better once the motor and trans are out. So back to dropping this thing. I'll let you know when it's on the ground. The power steering pump's gonna be two 14mm bolts for the bracket, and then I'm just gonna tuck that off to the side and the back. And then when I get back at it tomorrow, things coming out. Alrighty. Alright, so we're back. Power steering pump is off. It's the two 14mm bolts. These are the two. The top one is the long one. The bottom one is the short one. They're both 14s. And there's one sensor on the 0203 pump. I have a spare pump over here, let me show you. It's just like this little black sensor that goes right there on the back side of it. You gotta unclip that, you just pull it, and it comes right out. So that separates you from the harness and not having to worry about anything. So now I'm going to drop this motor and come back at it tomorrow and hopefully finish this thing up tomorrow. Alright, I'll let you guys know when everything's put up. Alright, and just like that, it's lowered. Power steering pump is tucked up there. for the time being. It's only temporarily. Motor, trans is on the ground. I'm gonna close this up for the night, and I'll be back at it bright and early tomorrow. Okay, so that was day 3 of pulling the motor. The motor is finally on the ground with the trans. Everything is taken apart. Some days it's just harder than others to get there. If anything, I just want to tell you guys, don't give up. You guys can get through it. I don't care how many times you've taken something apart. A bolt can make or break a day. Today I fought with 2 bolts. The day before that I fought with 1. And I'm probably going to end up fighting tomorrow with some as well. I have an idea on how I'm going to fix that cross member bolt. Might have to go and weld a nut on there, or possibly figure out a way to nut and bolt it from like the inside, and then use it as a temporary fix for now until I can figure something out. But I gotta get it out of there first and figure out what I'm doing. So tomorrow's problem. But hope you guys enjoy watching this. Thank you guys, and have a wonderful night. Bye.